Well, here it is, the brand new Sigma 100-400 for Fujifilm, currently shooting on the T4. We're going to look at it up close in the studio, see what's what, get some random test samples on the go and have a little chat about it. Then it'll be over to you in the comments below. So yeah, let's crack on. As always, we're greeted with instructions, and I expect this to be pretty well packed. Simple as, seems to be something missing. Technically not missing, but as far as I'm concerned, I think it's missing. Lens hood, nice bit of grip at the top there. All right, let's get that out one for one side, and there it is. Right, there's the lens itself. It actually feels very nice, cold to the touch there. We've got a nice brass mount, dust and splash resistant there. It's about all it says when it comes to weather resistance, so that'll be interesting. We might need to hear some user experiences once you've given this a good thrashing, although the way the weather is at the moment, yeah. 67mm filter thread, rather like that. Let's pop the hood on. I am a little bit unhappy that the tripod foot didn't come in the package. Now it is an optional extra, keeps the price down, but I'm not sure how I feel about that. This is nice though, if you're not into or don't use, you know, the foot. This nice little rubber thing protects the mount points and is kind of swish looking. Fair enough. See, for my use it's going to have to be without. There we go, less said about that the better. We've got 2 stabilization functions, 5 steps. We've got the focus limiter, full 6 meter to infinity and 6 meter there, not too bad. AF lock and AF switch there, AF function. Now we've got a lock when you're at 100, but the lock no longer works at any other focal length. Now there's the 2 ways of adjusting, so you can have a push-pull system, and that feels actually pretty decent, or the twist. Feels nice actually. Manual focusing, not too bad, nothing special at all, but I'm not particularly interested in that. Of course, we're getting full frame equivalent of 150 to 600mm on our 1.5 times crop sensor. That's a 16.2 degrees to 4.1 angular view, 9 diaphragm blades, 22 elements, 16 groups. Now, aperture wise, clearly no aperture ring there, so that'll all be front dial for me. We're getting 5 or 6 for if you're zoomed in to 22 or 29. Not too bad. Minimum focusing distance 112 centimeters at the wide end, and then what is it, 160 at the telephoto. Not bad. Magnification ratio of 1 to 4.1. Weighs, importantly, 1,135 grams, so a spot over a kilo. Not too bad. How's that going to balance on my T4? Especially now I don't have the optional extra. That would have been nice. If I see an alternative, I'll let you know too, because I know for some other lenses there is an alternative, but the one I'm thinking of I don't think will work with this lens. Anyway, nothing wrong with getting the actual proprietary OEM version. I just wish I had it to test, but this is, well, I'm recording this way before launch day, so you know, might not even be available yet, although it should be, because this is just a crossover port over from the other mounts. Anyway, nice feeling there. Not particularly contemporary, cheaper feeling everywhere else. It's absolutely fine. I mean, you are getting plasticky around here, but I think it all feels well built, and my experience with the contemporary range is absolutely very, very decent build and handling. But we're going to use it and we're going to comment on that after some good, proper, thorough use. I absolutely love the build quality. The lens feels great in every scenario I've tried it in, and it just feels like it's going to be a real solid lens for years to come. Handling wise, it's also excellent thanks to the correct array of switches and buttons, which are all very well placed. The rings are very easy to use. It all feels nice and correct. Yes, it lacks an aperture ring. Nothing's perfect in this world, but that hasn't bothered me in the real world, and you will see some more real world stuff shortly in this video. Now, apart from the aperture ring and a slow aperture itself, I'd say the lens is as close to pro as it gets when it comes to build and handling. The optical stabilizer is pretty good considering the focal lengths involved, but it's not the best out there. You have to make sure you use a higher shutter speed, get good light, and if possible, mount the lens ideally with the tripod collar, which, alas, I didn't get in time for my tests. If, like me, you prefer to have one, be ready to pay an extra £139. We'll return to that in the summary, as it does affect my thoughts on the overall value for money that this lens offers a touch. Obviously, the lens is better suited to the bigger bodies like the H series that I've been enjoying recently, but I've been testing it on my beloved T4 and the S20 that's recording us right now, that I'm using at the moment. But yeah, with the right handling, it's still perfectly fine on those smaller bodies. The autofocus isn't bad, but it's certainly not doing Fujifilm any favors at all. It is accurate and for the most part very usable. There is a hair extra weight that might be an issue for faster moving subjects than this chap you're seeing now. In fairness, it's smooth enough for me. It works well with face detection as well, and subject detection with the S20 has been good fun. I've used it on birds, planes, ducks, dogs, and so on. You might need to test it out if you really want to push the AFC shooting on your camera though, but to all intents and purposes, I had a good time shooting the lens when it comes to the autofocus, and even shooting myself in the intro for what it's worth. When it comes to the image quality, the very best is closer to the 400mm than the 100, interestingly. But across the range, the image quality is effectively very good. Sharpness, very good throughout the range in a sense, and not so sharp at the edges. Not a big deal for me with this one. Stop down just a touch and you'll see a moderate improvement. Color rendering is excellent with the sensor of the T4 and the S20 that I've been using. Contrast is also very good to excellent. Now, chromatic aberration to my eyes is very, very minor, basically unnoticeable, unless you're one of those crazy pixel peepers that most of us on this channel aren't, you know. There is a little pincushion distortion though at 100mm, which gets stronger towards 400, but this is corrected in the camera, so no biggie. I noticed a little vignette in wide open, but nothing that you can't fix in post. And ghosting, flaring, no issues at all. Finally, that most personal aspect of image quality, bokeh. I really liked it. It's smooth, creamy, and basically pleasing. As you saw in the first set of rather random test shots, I even managed to get pretty close up to some rather small subjects, taking advantage of the good, let's say, magnification, as you know, you'll have appreciated earlier on in the video. Anyway, before we talk about the cost factor, you know I had to do it. Here's some aviation samples. Yes, you know I love going down to the airport. Right. This lens is going on sale 21st of September 2023 for £899.99. But if you want the tripod collar, as we said, that's an extra £139. So for me, it'd be £1,038.99 for the total package. At first, I wasn't super enthusiastic about having to buy it, but I get it. Not everybody needs the tripod collar. And if it can keep the cost down for the lens, then why not? At £900, this is a rather good buy. I love the top quality build and handling. The OS isn't bad. The autofocus is pretty good. The IQ basically excellent. And the lens is very flexible in good lights. I prefer an aperture ring and frankly a faster aperture, but we're being picky. The value factor is pretty high with this one. Now the Fujifilm XF100, which we looked at way back in 2016, is roughly the same price second hand, but is faster, has the XF standard aperture ring, comes with the tripod collar. At $16.99 brand new, it is twice as much as the Sigma, so if you don't need the extras, the Sigma represents a very competitive choice. Now I'm super happy that Sigma brought this out, and with the 23mm that was also launched on the same day. It's great to see them continue to build a very, very worthy collection for Fujifilm. But what do you want them to put out next? Sigma, pay attention. Let us know, people, in the comments. Well, they're not always below now, are they? You know what I mean. I'll see you there.